Shalom everyone. So in this video I'm going to share the word of God in English, and yay, finally, video in English again. So I'm going to read Genesis 26, the book of Genesis in the Bible, chapter 26, verse 1 to 6, then verse 12 to 13. So let me read it out. Now there was a famine in the land besides the previous famine in Abraham's time. And Isaac went to Abimelech, king of the Philistines, in Gerar. The Lord appeared to Isaac and said, "Do not go down to Egypt. Live in the land where I tell you to live. Stay in this land for a while, and I will be with you and will bless you. For to you and your descendants I will give all these lands, and will confirm the oath I swore to your father Abraham. I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky, and will give them all these lands, and through your offspring all nations on earth will be blessed, because Abraham obeyed me and did everything I required of him, keeping my commands, my decrees, and my instructions." So Isaac stayed in Gerar. Next, verse 12 and 13. Isaac planted crops in that land, and in the same year reaped a hundredfold, because the Lord blessed him. The man became rich, and his wealth continued to grow until he became very wealthy. Alright, so from the beginning we knew that there was a famine in the land, and that's why I think Isaac went to Gerar, where the king of the Philistines lived in, and he went to Abimelech, the king of the Philistines. And I don't know, I'm not sure whether Isaac might thought something about Egypt, or maybe he wanted to go there for surviving from the famine in the land, right? I don't know whether he had thought something like that about Egypt, but we can read on verse 2. It's written here that the Lord appeared to Isaac and said, "Do not go down to Egypt. Live in the land where I tell you to live." Verse 3, "Stay in this land for a while, and I will be with you and will bless you. For to you and your descendants I will give all these lands, and will confirm the oath I swore to your father Abraham." Alright, so after that Isaac stayed in Gerar, and his action was the act of his obedience to God's voice, and he obeyed God's instructions, which was to stay in Gerar, to stay in that land. Don't go to Egypt just because you want to find food, just because you want to find comfort. Don't go to Egypt. Do not go to Egypt, but stay in this land, because God had promised to Abraham, Isaac's father, who was Isaac's father, right? To give the land to him and to his descendants. And we learn about obedience to God's voice. So Isaac obeyed God, and he showed his obedience through his actions or his deeds. In this reading, it's about actions, right? Because he stayed in Gerar. And what happened next on verse 12, he planted crops. Isaac planted crops in that land. Where? In Gerar. The question is, why did he plant crops? Why didn't he just do something else, not planting? Well, it's about survival. It's about how you survive from the famine, right? And so we learned about something. First, do preparation. When God asks you to do something, prepare yourself for that kind of thing, for the things that you will face, or for the things that will happen in the future. Preparation. Second one, we learned from Isaac that he had strategy to survive, right? How? He planted crops, and from the crops, the crops will produce food. Kind of fruits or vegetables, and they will become supplies of food, and that will be very useful to survive during the famine, right? during the famine period. So yeah, we learn about strategy, and also we learn about faith. Isaac believed in God, and so he obeyed God's voice. He obeyed his instructions. God's instructions to stay in Gerar, to live there. To plant crops in that land. And what happened was, due to his obedience, due to his faith, Isaac was blessed by God. We can read on verse 12. Isaac planted crops in that land, and the same year reaped 100-fold because the Lord blessed him. We know, of course, God blessed us. As his children, God bless us, right? The things that we can get, like food, beverages, or water, and the things we want to buy, and we can buy them. God has blessed us in our lives. But we can focus on the thing here that happened during the Isaac's period. It's like, there's something like breakthroughs that Isaac received from God. The blessing is the breakthrough. We can also, experience the breakthroughs, like financial breakthroughs, or health breakthroughs, or job breakthroughs. When we obey God, when we obey his instructions in our lives, I believe God will bless us. God will open doors of breakthroughs in our lives, right? And we learn about something about obedience that will result breakthroughs in our lives. The Lord blessed Isaac, and that was the sign of that what Isaac did, what Isaac his decision at that time, the decision Isaac made at that time was right before God. All right. So we also learn about, Isaac didn't have doubt. When he obeyed God, he just obeyed him, and his process was not just run in circles. His process was not just running in circles, but he made progress. That's why in the same year, he reaped 100-fold. The crops that he planted reaped 100-fold because the Lord blessed him. Verse 13, the man became rich, and his wealth continued to grow until he became very wealthy. Isaac became very wealthy. And that's because God has blessed him abundantly. So, we learn to obey God's voice. Well, I have some 3 points in my notes about self-reflection. Perhaps we could reflect, do self-reflections. And the first question that we can ask ourselves is, what kind of things that God asked us to do? Yeah. And second one is, have we done it so far or not yet? And the third one is, what are the obstacles that we find hindering us from doing God's commands in our lives, or God's instructions in our lives? So let me read the verse from the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 22. All right. So I saw that there is nothing better for a person than to enjoy their work, because that is their lot. For who can bring them to see what will happen after them? Please highlight the word enjoy. There is nothing better for a person than to enjoy their work. So if God asks or God commands us to do something, we need to be joyful, because we get the privilege from God to do something that God commanded us to do. So God bless you. Have a nice day, and shalom.